Hello and welcome to the Winners of Sheffield Podcast. On this episode we'll be interviewing Chris Millard. As Managing Director of England's Barmy Army, he's at the heart of one of the most passionate cricket supporter groups in the world. But that's only the start. Chris is also the Group MD of Emprise Group, which also owns the Joe Root Academy and a key figure in cricket's global fan community. Chris is also a proud ambassador of the Sheffield Children's Hospital. And if all that wasn't enough, he's now helping Alex Fleming to bring Sheffield's first play paddle venue to life, alongside a consortium of Sheffield's own England cricket legend Joe Root, former Sheffield Wednesday and current Rotherham United goalkeeper Cameron Dawson, and entrepreneur Harry Bliss. From sports, business and fan engagement to shaping the future of Sheffield's sporting scene, Chris seems to have done it all, so we can't wait to sit down with him and share his Barmy Army story.
So we are here today with Chris Millard, and we're at the hub of Emprise Group, which is, I believe, you're managing director of Emprise. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. I've been MD of Emprise since 2022, and within that is the Barmy Army, the Roots Academy, Emprise Digital, and Emprise Teamwear, which are two startup businesses that we started when we launched the group. The Roots Academy is the cricket academy, off the back of Joe and Billy Root's success, two obviously Sheffield legends. Matt Root is the chairman on our board, so he brought the company into our group, and clearly the Barmy Army is the England supporters group that tour all over the world that I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, part of the reason why I'm here today is because obviously I started the podcast just before Christmas, and I was talking to Paul Gosney.
He was in it a couple of days ago, actually.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I was sort of telling him about the concept of the podcast and all the rest of it, and he sort of said, "What about the Barmy Army guys?" And I'll be honest with you, I'm massive. I mean, it's probably been since it's been probably 10-15 years since I properly watched cricket, so didn't really. I'd heard the name, but didn't really know what you did, and so I thought, I'd reach out and find out a little bit more. So what exactly is the Barmy Army then?
So the Barmy Army is a cricket supporter movement that has been going since 1994-95. It started out as three mates on holiday backpacking around Australia. 30 years on is now a business that employs 22 people full time and has 2 million social media followers and 50,000 members, so it's really grown from what was three guys on holiday and formed a group of people that were singing songs supporting an England team that were getting battered by Australia, and the Australian press couldn't understand why they were still there supporting them even when they were losing so badly. But the more that England were getting battered, the more support the fans would give, which makes sense, right? But it was very uncommon, and especially in Australia. So they were branded by the press the Barmy Army, because they were still supporting the team, getting sunburned, singing all day, every day, and an army because there were so many of them. More people kept gathering, and they trademarked it the Barmy Army, so that the three entrepreneurial guys, Dave, Paul and Gareth, who were over there, decided to trademark the name in the UK and Australia. They printed, I think it was a couple of hundred shirts in the first week or so. Went to the next game, sold them straight away, realised that they could generate a nice little bit of income while they were travelling, and decided to print more shirts for the next test, and lo and behold they sold out. And they decided when they got back off that tour to start putting the wheels in motion around creating a more organised group that could travel away and have a great time, but also the three guys could make a bit of money off to support their travelling as well.
And what got you involved then? What initially got you involved in that?
Yeah, so I've been involved with the business since 2015. I was on work placement from university. I was up at Leeds Beckett, and I had Billy Root, Joe's brother, living on my sofa at the time whilst he was waiting for accommodation in between cricket clubs. And he just said to me, "Look, Joe had just started playing for England and touring, and we were all very good mates, lived within 5 minutes of each other all of our lives in South Sheffield." And we were chatting one day, and he said, "Oh, my dad's interested in getting involved with the Barmy Army, the commercial side of it. And I was like, oh, didn't really know there was a commercial arm to it, and what do they do? And he said, well, they sell t-shirts, they go on tour, they run a little membership program. So I was like, ask if Joe can make an intro for me. And the next couple of days I was on the phone to the MD of the Barmy Army, who was Paul Burnham, who we briefly spoke about then. I said, do you need help for a month? I'm willing to come down and work for free. And he said yes, and I worked with Matt Root at the time from his Chesterfield office, supporting the London office, which was the Barmy Army, which turned out to be Paul's garage, where there was 3 desks in and frosted glass, 1 window. And we started working on the project of what is this, how can we develop it, how can we turn it into something. It was only really when I left university in 2016 and I looked at my options. I was just saying to one of the guys who's come off a cruise, actually, I was offered quite a lucrative job after uni working on a cruise around the Caribbean to go and run their sports programmes, where I was offered to go and work for free for the Barmy Army to support what I was really enjoyed and what I was passionate about. And looking back, it was probably the greatest decision I ever made to go the Barmy Army route. So yeah, in 2016, late 2016, I moved down to London, moved in with Paul Burnham and Annabella, his wife, above the garage that was the office. So yeah, dropped my life in Sheffield, moved to London, started working with those guys, and quickly realised that I think Paul was a little bit tired of running the lifestyle business, and the team that he had in London were probably not fit for purpose. It's fair to say they were just going through the motions, and nobody was really taking the business forward, and there was no really idea for tomorrow. It was always about just living for today. And you guys being in businesses, you know that you've got to think about the future and the vision to really get anywhere. So I just asked Paul and the board if they'd welcome a proposal from me to try and drive it forward. And I guess my naivety at 22, 23 that I was then, put something together, and to my horror they said yes, and then I had to actually deliver on everything that I said I was going to do in the proposal. So yeah, Paul threw me the keys. Away I went, moved the business back to Sheffield. We moved in at Kelham Island, Globe Works, where we started in a very small office. Moved the team on that were based down in London, recruited a new team in and around Sheffield. By team I mean 3 people. Adam, who's still with us today, a guy called James Wilkinson, who played cricket with me, and he was on hand to help. So we brought James in, and then Harry came in. There was 4 of us, and we started trying to grow the operation and grow the business. And looking back now at that period, you think that's 2018, and to see where we are now in 2025 is fantastic. You think, without COVID, where would we be? We were really on the crest of a wave in 2019. We'd just come back from South Africa on a massive tour. We were about 7 people then, which was brilliant. We were on Rob Beckett and Ramesh versus cricket, and a massive feature on the Barmy Army during that. And so the media profile and the presence of the brand was really high. Yeah, and then COVID came around, and 2 things you couldn't do was live sport and travel. So we were like, right, what do we do?
How did you cope with that time period? What were the biggest challenges for you during that period?
Yeah, it was a tricky period. It was a tricky period for everyone. And I was very quick in saying, myself, Adam and Harry were very quick in saying that we're not there to moan and groan about COVID and about life. We're there to provide a bit of shining light for everyone. So we said, right, we know what we can't do, which is where we earn money, but what do we need to do? Invest in our people, invest in the community. So we flipped straight into can we take their superstar cricket idols who they love into their own homes, and can we do private closed group Q&As, live podcasts essentially. So we did something called Barmy Army Meets every week on a Thursday, where we brought all the cricket and superstars to a private closed group of members where they could ask them a Q&A, and it really took off. And we were really conscious that we thought we'd see a big drop in our membership. It was £30 a year, and at the time we thought people are going to need every penny they've got. We actually saw the membership grow, so we grew membership throughout COVID because we just focused on the community and giving them some value. So yeah, on reflection, it was a difficult period, but it's probably allowed us the growth we've had now because we were able to take stock and really think about what works for this business and what doesn't, and realign everything.
With them podcasts and things, was it charging things, or we just go doing it for free, or just do the subscription?
It was just, it was all for free for the members. Right, so it was all about building that membership. So it was £30 a year to be a member of the Barmy Army, which is not a lot of money now, but it's now £45 a year. But we were just focused on giving them as much access to cricket as they could because there wasn't any cricket.
So that 30 now £45, what does that entitle a member to at the moment? What does that membership look like?
Yeah, so you get, with the membership, you get anything from access to tickets everywhere in the world. So wherever England are playing, we will provide tickets to our members, or a platform to get tickets for our members. Primarily in England, you can get your tickets to Edgbaston, Trent Bridge, the Oval, Lords, and you can book them all in one journey, and rather than going to all the different clubs and buying tickets. And you'll be seated in the Barmy Army section, like-minded fans, people you know, the trumpet player. So that's the primary benefit, access to tickets, like any sports club, I guess. And then the secondary benefits is we've got a really strong discount platform. So we've integrated with a company that offer massive discounts to thousands of stores. So you can save your £45 back in one North Face jacket. So it's it's really, there's a lot of value in there, and we're still to this day trying to tell the story and tell as many people as we can how much value there is in that membership platform.
So we're talking about stories. What we don't also talk about in these podcasts is going back to your own individual story. So where you grew up, where you went to school, how was yourself growing up?
You mentioned you obviously good pals with the Root brothers.
Yes.
So where did it all start for you, really?
Yeah, so growing up always been in South Sheffield, so Axel Road South, originally just opposite Parkhead Cricket Club. Near the old Toby Carver and Wacky Warehouse even.
Yeah, I remember that there,
and then we relocated to Parkhead Road, where I went to Silverdale School, just round the corner. Grew up within that area, very nice place to live and grow up, and very fortunate to have a lot of access to green spaces around there. So play a lot of sport, play cricket for Parkhead, obviously rivals of Sheffield Collegiate and Hallam, so got to know a lot of my mates through the cricketing circles, but also played a lot of football, played for young girls for years and years and years. And then still transitioned into some adult football for the Hammer and Pincers to keep things ticking over. Just growing up massively into sport, massively into music, go to a lot of live music, a lot of live events with my missus. So
favourite band?
I've got to be the Arctic Monkeys, very loyal. We're massively into our music and had a very sporty upbringing. Never really got on with school that well. I've since been back to do assemblies, so talk about my journey that was different. I was told not to go to sixth form. Well, I was advised not to go to sixth form. I don't think we wanted my grades on their roster, so I went to Norton College.
I
did really well at college. I just like the style of learning and the way you can speak to people as adults rather than teachers when you're that age.
What did you study at college?
Sport and exercise science. And then that transitioned straight. I actually got a high achievers grant, so going from a school where I always felt like I was failing because I wasn't as book smart as everyone else, and I was dyslexic and I was a little bit slower. I was really successful at sport, but really poor. Wasn't book smart at all, so went to college and it just showed me another way of learning, and that really set on my trajectory into university, and went to university, really thrived, sport business at uni, and then
that Leeds Beckett,
and then found my way into the Barmy Army. So the journey into the Barmy Army has led to managing a bigger group of companies, new businesses, looking at acquisitions, looking at mergers, and it's been a whirlwind. There's been no gap years or anything. So I think when we're finally done with this massive project, we might have a bit of time out.
So you're managing director of the Barmy, correct? What are your primary responsibilities of being a managing director of a company like this? What would you say is your biggest challenges or biggest roles?
Trying to make yourself redundant every day. Bring in I think my biggest learnings to start with have been, in the earlier days we brought in people based on what we could afford, and we made a few mistakes with people where we brought in people that myself and Adam, who were running the business, were probably better than at their job, and that is not a recipe book for success, because if you bring in people that you think you can do the job better, you'll never be satisfied. So I can now confidently say there is no one within this business who I'm better at their job.
Right.
So they're all better than me at their job, whatever they do in this business. My job is to bring the best people possible for our budget into this business, to drive that part of the business forward. And with that, we've had so much success.
Yeah.
And we've really stretched ourselves to get some people beyond what we thought was achievable. We've got them in, and every time we've gone, what a great decision that was. Never once thought it was a bad idea because we either paid too much or we can't get the structure ready for them. So I think just bringing in the right people to drive the business forward, and then set the vision, where we're going, where we're heading, what we're doing, trying to view the business from 30,000 feet rather than in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
So really trying to step out of that operational day-to-day systems and think about, okay, what's happening in 26, what's happening in 27, how are we going to get to that milestone in 28, which is where I'm best as well. I'd like to say I'm probably quite a good leader, but not the best manager.
What about, I mean, the nature of the business is obviously taking, boisterous, predominantly males, presumably to the other side of the world. There's alcohol involved, all the rest of it. Has there been any situations where it can get a bit on top, or these guys get into trouble and you're effectively responsible for these people getting into trouble?
I think a myth that we've been trying to dispel for the last 7 years, 8 years, since I got involved, even before my time, was that it is blokes with the tops off singing songs. It's just not true.
Right.
It's just potentially what people see on telly and think, oh, that must be the Barmy cricket. It's just not the case. We've had less people kicked out of cricket stadiums in 30 years than one day at Lords during the Ashes 2 years ago. It's incredibly well self-policed. There's a code of conduct that everyone signs up to when they become a member. So we have the power to revoke the membership or kick them out if you like. So, and the rules have been in place for way before my time. We're just there to enforce them and make sure that everyone respects what it is. And people are really passionate about what the Barmy Army means and what it is and what it offers them. So it's all about educating people of what we expect in the early days when they become a member, and then when they go on tour and when you sit with like-minded people, you realise that you've got people that will, if you're stepping out of line or you're saying something, they'll tell you. We're not going to sit there and be quiet, which is great. Some things you probably wouldn't know from the outside, but we've got one of our biggest members, members is an 82-year-old widowed woman who's been on the last 29 tours and comes on every tour and we look after her. And there's actually quite a big group of single women that come on tour with us because they feel safe, because they're part of the community, because they're well looked after, and they know how, if they are part of the Barmy Army and they like cricket, everyone's going to look out for them. So it's like one big group, one big family, for want of a better phrase, when you're on tour. And we're just trying to keep that momentum going and keep building that community.
The Barmy Army then, so you've got I'm listening off the top of my head, you've got Pakistan, India, South Africa, Australia, all the mainland, Bangladesh, West Indies. Do they have the same setups as a Barmy Army or not? Or do they have it's the Matildas, isn't it, for Australia, for instance?
Yeah, that's the women's football team over there. There are versions of. So we, in 1999, we helped set up the Bharat Army, which is the Indian version of the Barmy Army. There are smaller versions of supporter groups that ask us for advice and help, and we're always open to help. There's the Beige Brigade in New Zealand, there's the Richies in Australia. So there are more informal groups, probably where we were 25 years ago.
But would you say the Barmy Army got the standard one for international cricket? Or?
Yeah, I think that the difference with the Barmy Army is we understand the commercial model and the community model, and it can go hand in hand. It takes time and it takes a bit of education around how do you build a brand off a community, passionate people that are all still for it. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that we have at times trodden a path of potentially being too commercial and putting off some people within the community, and it's a fine line to tread, but I think most people understand that to do good things you've got to make money and you've got to make things work. And there are a lot of people that don't really want things to be commercially successful, but they want all the good things. So I think just educating people that that's not possible. It's not possible to run what we run without some commercial success.
How many members are in the Barmy Army at the minute?
So we've got 8,500 paid members, pay £45 a year, and then we've got over 50,000 registered members who are free members, just a subscription. They get the newsletters, they occasionally get deals, and they get a second release ticket. So yeah, a fair few. If we were a cricket club or a franchise, we'd be the biggest in the world by membership. So.
And is it purely cricket? Have you ever thought about dabbling into other sports?
Yeah, we have. We've ventured into rugby in the past. We've done a few things within rugby, but I think one thing when I first came in, I was quite ambitious around, let's take this into rugby, let's take this into golf, let's try new sports. But I think when you really dial it back, you've got to get your core business model right. And at the time, the core business model wasn't right, and we weren't in a position to scale and grow off the back of. I think in 2026, it's probably something we'll look at again. There's a Rugby World Cup in Australia in 2027 where I'd love to be a part of that programme.
We're talking about other sports. You're setting up the Padel course, aren't you? Talk us through that.
Yeah, we are. It's exciting. So that's at Abbeydale, as you will know, Abbeydale Tennis Club. I've been working with Harry Bliss, who ran Champion Health Tech Business from Sheffield, lives in Manchester now. Alex Fleming, went to school with. He's coming in to run it for us, and then I brought in Ruti and Cam Dawson. Two were really good mates, and I know they're interested in paddle and love it. I was like, I've got an opportunity that I'm looking to invest in and looking to be a part of. Do you want to come in on it with me? So yeah, it all works quite well.
Is that an actual club that's been set up at Abbeydale, or is it like just part of the course? Or?
No, it's going to be 4-court indoor separate facility.
Right, okay.
So yeah, we've got an indoor facility, 4 courts, bar, cafe, and there'll be food and beverage available.
That's come out of nowhere, Padel, hasn't it? Suddenly. It's been around. It's
fastest growing sport in the world, apparently.
It is indeed. Yeah, I've played it for probably a couple of years now, but there is so much demand for it. It's absolutely off the scale. But it's global as well. Like you go to India, you go to Ahmedabad in India. There's massive facilities over there. Right. It's a really unique blend of a good workout, a good community sport. There's three of your mates or 4 of you in total, and it's a good laugh. You don't have to be good. It's very accessible. You could pick up a bat and have a great game with your mates if you're all a similar level. And it's just understanding the rules, getting to know it, and you can get better at it quite quickly. So it's really accessible. It's a good workout. It's a community game. What's not to love? Yeah.
When does that start?
We're hoping it will be open first week in April.
I kept seeing spring, but has there been any complications then? Just were you saying that? Has it?
No, we're ahead of schedule, but you never know. It's very tight, there's a lot of contractors booked. When I went down earlier this week, there was probably about 15 people there, so everyone's working to try and get it open as fast as possible. Sheffield needs it.
It does, yeah.
There's 1 court at Hallamshire, there's 1 court at Ecclesall, they're both outdoors. We want to provide a community, a hub for people to base themselves out, and we're quite ambitious with our growth plans with it. So,
of other courts, like you mentioned at Hallamshire, they said, you're going to take our members if you create this stuff. Has there been any of that or not?
No. Because there's demand. There's demand for everyone. Everyone's going to be full, and ultimately, they say what they want. We're doing this, and nothing's going to
say it was up until sort of like 10 in the evening. The hours will be.
The last court you can book will be 10 till 11,
Right.
I think, or 9 till 10.
That's
in detail, but it's going to be open from 6 AM till 10, 11 o'clock.
Another organisation you've got hand in is the Joe Root Academy. Talk us through that. What consists of that? Is it within schools? Is it young cricket clubs? What?
Yeah, so the Roots Academy was formed in 2017, founded by the Root family, Joe, Matt, Billy and Helen. Yeah. And they aim to provide as many people access to cricket as possible globally. So whether that's from a coaching aid where people can train in the garden, whether that's a high performance camp that we run in Adelaide, or whether that's just some online coaching. We like to think that we've got something for everyone, from coaching, education, or equipment. And we've worked really hard to realign what that business looks like and what it means, and how it can still be present 10 years after Joe retires. So that's the thing with a lot of famous sports people academies. You don't want it to die a death when the player retires. So it's about what do we do now to create longevity and a future for the Root Academy, so that Joe can look back proudly that it's something to be proud of. It's a not-for-profit, so all the money raised by the academy goes into the foundation to do good things with it in the game of cricket, to try and give people opportunity. Because cricket is a privileged sport by tradition, and there are a lot of good players that are in the state schools that just don't get the same access as what the private school kids get. So that's one of the big factors on our radar, and we've run a couple of state school cricket competitions that have been really successful. We run a refugee program with Sheffield College, where we've got a lot of Afghanistan cricketers going through there. So we're doing a lot of good within our communities that we're in, to try and keep cricket on the map and give people opportunities.
He's obviously a worldwide superstar, so is it worldwide, that academy, or is it?
Yeah, we've got a full-time facility in Baltimore in America, and in Australia in Adelaide, both working with our partners over there, but we're looking at the UAE for the next opportunity to develop something. Yeah.
It's funny you talked about the accessibility of cricket. I watched the documentary that Freddie Flintoff did, and got quite into that actually. And off the back of it, I thought I'll email a few cricket clubs, because I thought I wouldn't mind just trialing, or I played at school but not, and I didn't get an email back from any of the cricket clubs.
Really?
Yeah. I said it to a mate of mine, and he said, "I'll come and have a knock with us next summer." So might fancy it if and when the sun's on.
It's a good social sport. It's a really good social sport. You meet a lot of people. And there's a lot of cricket being played in the summer, so there's access for everyone. No matter if you're just starting or you're an elite player, there's access for everyone. So.
What level? Sorry, what level did you play to yourself? Obviously, I know you said you went to school with Joe and you played cricket.
Yes.
Did you play competitively yourself?
Yeah, I played for Parkhead. So I've grown up on Parkhead Road, and I've always played for Parkhead Cricket Club, and we've.
Did you have what it took to take it
professional?
No,
no chance. No. Seeing the work and the ability that both Billy and Joe have got. Billy's a professional at Glamorgan in Wales. Seeing their ability, they're absolutely streets ahead. But you look at Joe's probably going to be the best player of all time in the world. So his dedication to the game, and to have what it takes to be an elite cricketer or an elite football player. My other mates have gone into football. It is really, you need that little bit of something else, and I didn't have that from an early age, but I think I knew that I was quite good at sport, I was quite competitive, played decent level, but I don't think you grow up and you say every kid wants to be a footballer. I didn't. I was half decent at football, but I didn't want to be a footballer. Yeah. And now looking at my mate's life, who was a footballer, I think I made the right decision.
When they say have you seen from your perspective an improvement in cricket facilities within school? Because I remember when I was younger, we played cricket. We were playing on concrete, and so people would bowl the balls and be going a bit above your head.
Playing in Australia.
Be going in bushes and all that.
Yeah.
Is it improving in schools now for the age or not? Or?
Yes and no. Yeah. I think again, the private schools are way ahead. We've got some great private school facilities in the country. Yeah. But I think facilities in the UK, they're okay. Yeah. Globally, cricket facilities are. You find it hard to find really good facilities globally, other than big dominant countries. I guess one of the most emerging markets is America. There's so much cricket being played over there. There's so much interest. That would really help regenerate and give the game another kick. But I think just specifically England, I think it's like everything. A lot of the state schools, because it's a summer sport. Yeah. A lot of the state schools, it's not top of the agenda. It's football and rugby and hockey, and then when it comes to cricket, it's a bit of a token effort at the end of the year before the kids break up. So it's due to seasonality, but also, I guess, how high it is on the agenda.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think the best ones I've seen are Westbourne down there.
Yeah.
Westbourne down there.
Yeah, so well-funded academies and things like that, they do. And it takes leaders within the schools, right? Or that connect people. If you've got a really passionate PE teacher that loves cricket, he's probably going to produce some cricketers, or she's probably going to produce some cricketers. So, we work really closely with some state schools that have those people in situ, but it's not common, unfortunately.
What's been your biggest challenge since you took this role? What's been the biggest thing that's hit you, the way you've had to deal with?
I think with any business, I could probably break it down to 3 different segments. I think in the early days, the biggest challenge was credibility of myself, and always felt like I had to prove something to someone, probably because of my age, and I was what was perceived to be a fairly senior position of a well-known brand at quite a young age. And I did come up with a lot of barriers, I guess, because I felt like I wasn't being taken seriously. Whether that was just a bit of imposter syndrome from myself, or whether that was actually the matter of fact, then I don't know. But I guess probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I just had a change of mentality and a change of viewpoint, and I'm thinking, right, just get after it. And since then, I think you are, like, how you feel is how people perceive you. So if you start being more confident, you start putting yourself out there, you start speaking about your industry more, then you grow, and you grow as a leader, you grow in confidence. And I guess the second challenge is navigating through that COVID period and keeping the business alive whilst trying to make a future for it as well, when not knowing what the future was like. I mean, there was an Australia tour due for during COVID, and how big that is for our business in terms of scale, it would have sustained the business for 5 to 10 years financially, and to not have that, and to have only had one of those tours 4 years before, was absolutely massive. If we'd have had that tour, I'm certain this business would be double its size right now. That's how big the impact is, because an Ashes tour generates so much revenue. You can do so much with it at the end of a tour to grow the business again. We missed out on that, so that was a challenge, trying to navigate through a really quiet period, because after the Ashes we had Pakistan tours a lot, we had some very small New Zealand tours, and when you're looking at, so we might take 50 people to Pakistan, we might take 100 people to New Zealand, whereas an Ashes tour will take 3,000 people. And you're thinking, as just any high street holiday company, if they're taking 150 people away that year, then they're probably not going to make much money. But when they take 3,000 people away on one project, they're going to make a lot of money. So we missed that, and it was like, right, how do we deal with that? We spoke about it, dealing with the data, improving things, and trying to give back to our community, really. And then the final challenge would be around people. I think I mentioned it. Mistakes I often made was recruiting, making the easy call on recruitment. You know that industry very well, but sometimes not going with recruitment agencies or not going with the more expensive hire, even though the better, led to problems down the line. When always hire the best people. Like some roles within our group are quite specific and quite hard to recruit for. Like looking for experienced travel operators with sport tour experience is fairly niche, and finding the right people is hard, but almost waiting for that right person rather than forcing something that you think might be a problem in the future is the biggest lesson. So.
Looking at your LinkedIn, did you have a dabble at some kind of recruitment officer role yourself?
I was, yeah. So it was just before I joined the Barmy Army, so straight after uni I was talking to Paul about going to work for him, and then he offered me the role of not getting paid very much, so I went and did 3 months in recruitment at King's Foundation. Great company, by the way, great Sheffield business. Richard, the CEO, suddenly died a few weeks ago. He grew an amazing business that gives young people the opportunity to access sport all over the world. So I did 3 months with the foundation and enjoyed it, actually. Enjoyed learning about people and about skill sets. I learned how to interview there as well, which I think was pretty pivotal in creating a business. Like what
still benefit from that now, then, won't you?
Oh, massively. I think any business owners or founders need to be able to sell, they need to be able to interview, and they need to be able to talk to people and know how to talk to people. I think if you've got those 3 skill sets, and they need some financial acumen, you need to know the basic financials. If you've got those as a skill set, then I think anyone can make a success of any business. If you understand your numbers, you understand your people, and you know how to interview them, and you can sell. I think naturally I could sell and I'm relatively good at talking to people and learn how to interview. I've learnt the financial side of things, and it's just giving me so much confidence to drive business.
What's your management style like now then? Would you say you're quite hands off and let people?
To get these guys to answer that. I think it's like anything, isn't it? I would probably tell you what I think, and they might say something different. But I'd like to say very, very hands off, trusting, hopefully empowering, and hopefully a little bit inspiring to try and make them achieve what we all want to achieve. And I'm not a hothead dictator style leader. I just don't gel with that. I never did as a person. Doesn't work for me. So yeah, I'd like to say I'm very hands off until very, very necessary. So.
And you touched on earlier plans for 26, 27. What do they look like? What's the plan this year, next year, beyond?
Yeah, so obviously touched on the Ashes quite a lot. That's a massive project for us. That'll be from November to January, where we'll take 3,000 people on our travel programme, but then there'll be another 35,000 Brits travelling, or expats over there, and our job is to run 4 or 5 events per test match. That's 25, 30 events over 7 weeks, sell 30,000 units of merchandise, run the brand online to have a big audience, look after the membership, launch the South Africa tour, and deliver the travel programme. So the biggest challenge we'll face from now until the Ashes is recruiting the team for that winter period. We're going to come work for us for 7 weeks, deliver it, and then.
So it's just a temporary team when you're doing.
Yeah,
this.
we'll have the core team of 20, and then we'll upskill a fair few people. But within our industry, we've got the Lions is happening in Australia in July. We'll be lending a few of our team to go and help our sister business within the wider travel group, destination sport group, and then we will hopefully get some of their team to come and help us with our project. So yeah, that's the immediate challenges, and then 26, 27 is we've got a really big South Africa tour. And then looking to 27, it's how do we scale up the wider business, what acquisitions can we look to do, and how can we grow Emprise Group into a big brand incubator that the city, the country can be proud of in years to come.
When you say events, when you're over there, what type of events do you do? Is it like fan events? Or what?
Yeah, there's a big range from, I'm going to make an assumption here that you've both been to Bongo Bingo and over the
Yeah.
There we go. So we went on a staff do there, and we all had a great time, and then decided to do a cricket version. So we do something called Barmy Bingo. That goes really well. So we'll do at least one of those every test match. So that'll be anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 people at that event.
You just rent places out when you're over there, is it? Or?
Yeah. I went out in October. I'm going back out in July.
Right.
Going out in October again to get it all set up. And we've got a head of events who's just started, who will be helping deliver that. And we've got, so that's the more raucous event. And then you've got charity parties where we raise money for charitable cause. Raised over $500,000 over the past 30 years. So it's a big thing on what we do. We'll aim to raise between over 50 grand on the Ashes tour for a charity. That'll be more like a Q&A, relaxed, canapé style event.
Yeah.
Christmas dinner for 1,500 people. We've already sold 700 tickets. So yeah, a lot of turkey.
Where would that be?
In Melbourne.
Oh.
A big function room in Melbourne, at the Crown Casino. So that'll be a big do. And then New Year, we're going to have 3 New Year's Eve parties, one in Melbourne, one big one in Sydney, and then a VIP experience as well.
Right.
At the harbour, so yeah, it's
What's it like having Christmas and New Year? While all that's going on, is it weird for you or not? Or?
Yeah, I think we're very much in like military delivery mode by that time. The 7 weeks are a blur. Christmas is in there, New Year's in there, but you breathe in mid-January. But we've got a team that not many have done an Ashes tour before, so it's been very exciting, very fun. I've done it before, I know what it's like, but it's it's just an incredible experience. Like you're providing bucket list experiences to people that have been looking forward to this for the last 5 years. We're incredibly privileged to be able to do what we do and call it a job. So don't take any days for granted, and enjoy it is the biggest secret to making sure that it's a success. But we once ran out of turkey in South Africa, which didn't go down well.
So part of the podcast, one of the questions I've been asking is, now that you know about what we're doing, and that might be celebrating the small people, you're obviously very well connected. Who do you think we should be getting in front of at some stage this year?
Realistically.
Play paddle group.
Well, I've spoken to Alex actually. We've sort of said that once it's open, we'll get an episode done. Yeah.
Brilliant, great. Play paddle. Are you thinking sport? Are you thinking business? Is it mainly business?
Whatever it is. I mean, it's purely. I mean, we've interviewed Glyn Rhodes, for example. We've interviewed John Burkle, the cancer Macmillan guy. So it can be anything and everybody. And I know that yourself, you're an ambassador of is it Children's Hospital as well?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Right. We spoke with Chad.
We
Did
Chad Weston
Chad's a
recently.
good fella, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a character.
Absolute character. Yeah.
Chad's great. We've seen him on Wednesday. I think there's so many great people in Sheffield that have done amazing things. I think and they are all open to helping. You've got James Hope Gill, who has set up his own national governing body with Skateboard UK. He's done so well. It's in the Olympics, and he's played a massive pivotal role in putting skateboarding on the map. So definitely James. I'd look at Harry Bliss as well, who started Champion Health. Another one of my mates who.
I must admit, I saw that he was based in Manchester and wrongly assumed that.
No, he's from Sheffield. Yeah. I'm sure he'd be happy to come on the pod. Cameron Dawson, Wednesday goalkeeper. He'd be now at Rotherham, Sheffield, born and bred. We went to school together. Best men for each other at our weddings in the next month.
I didn't know he was from Sheffield, Cameron Dawson.
Yeah. Born and bred. So get Cam involved, and there's Arnie Singh, City Taxis. His story's pretty incredible. How that went.
So you're getting married later this year, you say?
In May, yeah. 31st of May, then having a music festival after it.
Nice.
We decided to host our own music festival there.
Where's the festival?
At Camp and Furnace in Liverpool.
Yeah.
High
Very well,
Camp and Furnace. Get married in at the cathedral, and then.
Oh, get married over.
Yeah, it's a big one, isn't it?
Wow, that is big.
Yeah, and then Powerhouse for the reception.
Yeah.
And then Camp and Furnace the day after, so it's going to be a bit of a whirlwind, but we're good at delivering events. So.
I've got a mate who's got a lot of people who go with the Barmy Army.
Yes.
And he heard about me doing this.
Yes.
And he's given me some quick questions to ask you.
Amazing.
So I'll start off quick. There's something like that. You'll probably know more than me, but I'll ask you a quick fire few. Of all the overseas tours and destinations, which are the top locations to watch England play overseas?
This is probably the most commonly asked question,
and
it's a great question, but it's so hard because they're all so great and so unique. It's really hard to compare a Sri Lanka tour to an Australia tour to a West Indies tour, but my personal favourite is New Zealand.
Right, okay.
New Zealand, yeah.
Merchandise seems to go strength to strength. How significant is that income stream to the Barmy Army business?
Yeah, it is very significant, but it's very seasonal. If we have a bad year, bad English summer and then a winter tour, it's very, very hard to generate good numbers out of it. So when it's a really good year, so we've got India at home this year, Australia away, it'll be very significant, but we always have to park it and save some for a rainy day because we know that the seasonality of the calendar is so up and down, we can't plan for it.
Domestically, cricket is following football's lead with an increasingly congested calendar. Are you fearful for the future development of test players with lack of game time in longer formats?
I can't answer this question quickfire because it's so nuanced, but the schedule is the biggest problem within cricket right now.
Yeah.
The ICC have to do something about it because to protect the players' welfare and the fans, to make sure everyone still supports their national side as well as the franchise teams. The biggest problem is you don't want to make the players make a tough decision between their career and playing for their international team, because they get paid so much more for playing in a franchise league.
Yeah.
Do not force them to retire early from international cricket. Make the schedule better, improve it for everyone. Don't make the players make a decision they don't want to make, and international cricket will thrive.
The 100, love it or hate it?
I've purposefully never commented on it because I know it's so. I'm going to say love it.
Okay. Thoughts on fancy dress and drinking culture internationals?
I think it's overhyped by the media, and if you don't like it, sit in a different part of the ground. Barmy Army members have an opportunity to either sit in the party stand or the other side of the ground. We have 2 allocations of tickets because we know a lot of our members can't stand fancy dress, don't like the boozy nature, so they sit at the other side of the ground. We've got some members who absolutely love it, so pick your seats well.
I know the answer to this one. Most naturally gifted player in your time following England?
Most naturally gifted player in my time following England? Yeah, it's got to be Joe. Joe Root.
How many Yorkshiremen make your all-time England 11?
11.
Good answer. Which was the best player? Well, I'll shorten this down. Who is the best player to engage with fans and build up a relationship with the Barmy Army? Ex or current?
Oh, I can probably give 2 here. The first one would have to be Mark Wood, current player.
Yeah.
So engaged, loves it. If he's not in the Barmy Army if he's not in the Barmy Army when he retires, I'd be very surprised.
Right, okay.
He's just so engaged and loves the Barmy Army. And then ex-player, there's been so many that have done so much for us, but one that always springs to mind is Paul Collingwood, because he just loves what it's all about. He knows a lot of the guys. Matt Pryor as well was very engaged. Graham Swan.
Steve Armisen gets quite
Army
involved,
loves
doesn't
it, yeah. So all the ex-players love it. So.
Last 2. Best Barmy Army song?
Again, it's going to sound like I just love the bloke, but Mark Wood.
Okay.
To twist and shout. So,
Right.
yeah, it's a belter.
And last one. Will the upcoming Ashes series be over England 3-0 down before my mate arrives in Oz in time for the Boxing Day test, just like when he was there in 2017?
Good lad though for sticking with it and not coming for last time. I genuinely think we'll do well this time. I think it's a massive tour for Ben Stokes with Joe Root, big players. They really want to do well. They don't want to stop playing international test cricket without winning in Australia. So I am very confident it will be all to play for still by Melbourne City. If I'm wrong, tell your mate to come and find me, I'll buy him a beer.
I'll let him know. He's going over from the Melbourne test.
Brilliant, good man.
Well, Chris, I think you've been a great guest. Thank you very much for joining us today.
No worries, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good to meet
Nice
you.
one.
That's all, folks, for this episode of the Winners of Sheffield podcast. Join us on our next episode where we speak to Hannah Durade, who is a multi-award winning serial entrepreneur renowned for founding the Great Escape Game, an immersive escape room attraction. Since launching in January 2015, the business has recently approached its 10-year milestone and now offers 17 escape rooms across the north of England, including the location at the prestigious Royal Armouries Museum. The venue also features bars, kitchens and corporate space hire. In addition to her entrepreneurial ventures, Hannah serves as the UK director for a global femtech company innovating in women's health. She also founded the Sheffield Business Runners Group, a group that connects local professionals through fitness, networking and community engagement. And the gang's newest engagement is Sheffield Business Padel.